President Putin didn't have very much to say about the war directly in his Victory Day speeches. The narrative is the same, which is this is all about NATO's long-term aggression against the Russian people, but he had very little to announce about the war itself, partly because we suspect it's dawning on him that it isn't going very well. He began by trying to seize Kiev in 72 hours. That went completely wrong. Then he tried to grab the cities in the north and east of the country. That didn't work either. And so now he's concentrated all of his forces in the southeast of the country, in the south, in order to grab territory. And this Battle of the Donbass has been building up for a couple of weeks. It is now properly joined over the last couple of days. And we can see how this battle is beginning to go. There are pros and cons for both sides. In Mariupol, the Russians have Mariupol, but not the Azovstal steelworks. And so symbolically, the fact that Ukrainians are still holding out at Azovstal is still a problem for President Putin. The Russians have made some gains at Popasna. They've pushed hard at Popasna, and they've actually forced the Ukrainians to pull back. So the Ukrainians have gone back to what they say are prepared defensive positions. They've lost a bit of their perimeter there. But further north at Izium, which is a very important northern anchor for this whole Russian offensive going southwards, at Izium, the Ukrainians are attacking from the west, and they're making that northern anchor rather less secure. That gives the Russians something to worry about. More important, at Kharkiv, further north, Ukraine's second city, the Ukrainians are attacking in the north and the northeast. They've pushed Russian field artillery out of range, which is a relief, of course, to the city of Kharkiv. But more than that, it threatens the communication line between Belgorod in Russia, Kharkiv and Izium. That's a very important communication line, and it complicates the problem. And so what the Ukrainians have done is to give the Russians something else to worry about in their own rear area. That's a pretty good tactic. We'll see how it goes. The Ukrainians keep issuing video footage and photographs of destroyed Russian equipment. Of course, these are Ukrainian claims. But the fact is that more than 3,500 of these claims have been independently verified by external observers, photographically. It appears that the Russians have lost about 3 times as much heavy equipment as the Ukrainians and at least twice as many troops. And so this battle is not going terribly well at the moment for any of them. Of course, battles are inherently unpredictable. But the fact is, if I was looking at this from either Kiev or Moscow at the moment, I'd be a lot happier if I was President Zelensky than if I was President Putin. But the next 2 or 3 weeks will be absolutely critical.